Welcome to the latest episode of Making Sense.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Teresa, Erica,
and this is Keelan.
Oh, now we talk. Okay.
That part sounded good.
Yes.
Oh,
okay. That's what we thought we were doing.
I'm gonna do that next time.
Okay.
I'm almost on coffee.
We can delete all that part out.
All right, cool. Awesome. So welcome to Making Sense. This is our very first podcast. How are you guys feeling?
I'm so excited, but nervous.
I'm nervous. Like, y'all can be excited all day long, but I'm nervous.
You're nervous? Why?
A lot of people are about to hear this, and I'm sick right now, but we got this. We got this. Let's do this.
We're going to kill it.
Yes. And just a little background. When Keelan says he's sick, we both have had a cold all week. So that's been crazy.
Right before recording.
Right before. We went to this hotel and we were sitting there, and all night we were just
But we still cute though, even though y'all can't see us.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, so we're going to be starting off. This kind of podcast came from the idea of us as three friends wanting to kind of come together and talk about things that we're learning as millennials, as young adults, things that weren't talked about in school or with our professors. So we're pretty excited. This first session is going to be New Year, New You. Hey.
Whoa.
Yes, so are you guys excited about that?
I'm excited for it. I think it's a whole variety that we can really get into. There's so much New Year, New You, New Year, New Us.
Do y'all realize that we're about to go into another decade?
Yeah, I'm a little shook.
I did not realize that.
We're going into 2020. Think about that. I graduated in 2010. So it's been 10 years since I've been out of high school.
Wow, you're so old.
I hate you so much.
So do you feel like you've changed at all since then?
Definitely. I've gotten bigger. I've gotten bigger, but I've grown a lot. I realized that my friends that I had beforehand, I weren't really my friends. And I've learned to grow into a space to where I am thriving on my own and realizing, who my real friends are. And sometimes you have to keep your circle small,
Aww, you like us.
I think I've definitely noticed a lot of changes in myself, outwardly. One time I was looking at a picture of me from high school, and I had all my hair chopped off, and I was wearing this green shirt that my aunt made me, and it had these it's what you make tutus out of tulle.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was wearing a green shirt, a red belt with studs, black pants, pink socks. My little mohawk was dyed red. And so just looking at myself from there to now and just seeing all the changes.
Thank you, Lord.
And it's
Thank God for those changes.
But I think a lot has changed too inwardly in terms of I feel still like I'm the same quirky high schooler and into weird styles and stuff, but it's just kind of matured and grown.
What about you, Erica?
I think for me, my style's definitely changed, but I think I'm more comfortable with myself. And I remember in high school, I didn't want to be the weird one. And now I just embrace the fact that, okay, I'm the weird one. I'm the nerd that likes to do all kinds of things and Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all that jazz. So
I just feel like I get comfort, though, because Star Wars and all that stuff that we liked when we were younger that you try to hide, people love it now. Marvel and comic books and Star Wars and just all the little geeky things that nobody really liked when you were in high school. They love it.
I know. And I'm where were y'all when I was in high school making fun of me for liking Star Wars? And
I never liked that stuff, so I probably wouldn't be the person making fun of you for it.
Until
I met... I'm being honest, but until I met y'all, I didn't really enjoy that stuff. I was all about horror movies and killing and all that stuff, and I'm still into that stuff. But since I met y'all, Marvel and DC and all that kind of stuff, that's become part of who I am. I guess y'all have imprinted on my life.
So you've been blessed for meeting us because you were going down a dark road.
Whatever.
Awesome. So I guess just looking at that and seeing the changes, do you feel for this new year, as we're talking about new you, that there's going to be changes that you want to make? Or how do you feel about things like resolutions?
I think they're important, but I think there's also a lot of times where resolutions don't always work and you can't always keep the resolutions that you've made. For myself, of course, there's resolutions I want to make. I have a lot of things. I think my biggest resolution I want to make for myself this year is to learn to say no to people. I overextend and overschedule myself like all the time. So I think learning how to say no and just taking a break from actually doing something and watching Netflix all day or reading a book, doing something for myself rather than going all the time.
For me, I don't actually think I have a New Year's resolution just yet. But one thing that I was researching before we got to this point, and so it says that every year millions of Americans make New Year's resolutions, but by February, a month later, 80% of us have already failed at them. So, Erica, do you think by February you're going to be saying yes, yes, yes to everything instead of saying no, no, no?
I'm going to try not to. But with that, I read that one of the biggest things about resolutions is that you have to make sure you have somebody that's holding you accountable. Yeah. So I want to use this podcast and our audience and you guys to hold me accountable, that when people are like, hey, do you want to go do this? And I have 7 things scheduled for one day, that I say, I'm going to only do one of those 7 things and take the rest of the day for myself.
Okay.
What about you, Teresa?
I have never been a big person with resolutions and stuff, but I do believe in goal setting and how you were talking about 80%, and I think a lot of that comes from not knowing what you want to do, and just saying stuff like, I want to lose weight, or I want to stop hanging out with this person. So for me, I think a lot of it's going to be being specific. One thing I struggle with is my weight. So I go up and down, up and down, up and down. So I think kind of trying to find a middle ground and trying to find a routine. Because that's also what I read is that a lot of times people will begin something, but then it gets hard. And I think that's kind of where the biggest thing happens. It gets hard. You start going through life, all this changes, sick, work, kids. And so I don't have no kids, by the way. But you start going through life. And then all that hard work that you put in at the beginning just kind of falls to the wayside. So I think being diligent. So for me, it's coming up with me and my husband an exercise routine that we do, keeping accountable with him as my partner and with you guys, of course, and then just working at it. So, yeah.
I think that's smart. With the specific goals, what was it you were saying about the SMART goals, setting a SMART goal?
Yeah, so everybody kind of knows that whole SMART goal acronym. It's being specific, measurable, attainable. So when you're setting a goal, you want to make sure that it's a specific goal. So if I say I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, how attainable is that? And then how realistic is it?
And healthy.
So what'd you say?
And not very healthy.
And not very healthy. Now, some people do it. I watched many YouTube videos where people have done the keto or they've done the fasting. So I don't want to look at anybody else and be like, girl, you really aren't being healthy. But being realistic for me, I know I like snack cakes. I know I like chips. I know starting with
chips.
Oh my gosh, y'all don't even know. High school, 2 liters of Mountain Dew a day and a big bag of hot Cheetos. That was my diet. Can't do that no more. But yeah, so setting those specifics. So being specific. One thing that we did is we're grocery shopping. So I allot $300 a month. It's $150 at the beginning of the month, and then $150 at the second half of the month, and then buying groceries. Cutting down on how much I eat out. I know that I like to eat out, but I'm picking specific days, so maybe once a week or bi-weekly. So then I have things that I can look forward to.
Yeah, that's really smart.
I think it's crazy how you all of our goals that we're talking about, just the examples we're using, are actually related to weight, but that's actually not the biggest sector of
you're right.
New Year resolutions.
It's not.
Because 47, actually you picked it up because you said you want to say no, so you're trying to improve yourself. 47% of New Year's resolutions are devoted to self-improvement. Now, you can put weight but underneath that, but 34%, I don't know how they did this because this is not add to 100, I don't think. But 34% is money related. This is about the statistic brain. 38% is weight related. 31% is relationship related. And then self-improvement is 47%. Does that even add to 100?
You're the teacher.
I am the teacher, but still.
He teaches
history. I teach history. I don't teach math.
Yeah.
True. But
So why do you think self-improvement is such a big one?
I think a lot of the times, which this goes to an article I read as well, the American Psychological Association says that a lot of people use New Year's resolutions as like a catalyst of like changing your character. Mm-hmm. And I think people use these resolutions of I'm going to change my entire character for like next year. Mm-hmm. And that's where it gets to be unrealistic. Like you have to find something specific about yourself, like you said, mm-hmm. and then you have to set a goal that's not, I'm changing my entire character. Maybe just, I'm changing the way I treat people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or, and that way it's a lot easier, because I think it's a little like sad to me at times that people want to use this one time during the year and they want to change everything about them. But realistically, why is it this one specific day that people decide they want to change everything?
Yeah.
Because you can use the whole year. Like I could say, for instance, like 40 days ago, my friend and I decided we're going to start this 100-day workout challenge. Mm-hmm. And we started it. And it was a Tuesday in November. Like,
yeah.
So it wasn't, I feel like for me, I want to set this goal and I want to change it, mm-hmm. but I also need to understand that if I fall off the wagon, that in February when mm-hmm. I am no longer saying no to people, I can just get back on the wagon.
Yeah. And that's so true. Like I was reading about how don't wait till January 1st or to the new year to start something. If you want to do something, the best thing to do is to do it now. So like even when I was talking about like eating healthy, like I'm starting to do that now, because then it's easier. You've already kind of set a routine and you've set your mind to do something. So that way you're not waiting around to do something and then like continuing with your whatever habit that it is. You're getting on the horse now and you're saying, I want to make this change and this is a change. And I like that you said, you know, why wait to be a different person? You know, why wait? Why can't you just be a nice person now? Or why can't you start eating healthy now? Why can't you start exercising now? Like, what's holding you back? I think a lot of times that's what comes into it, because we see all of this year wrapped up into who we are. And instead of just saying, you know what, I can be changed right now, I'm going to wait until this year's over because I'm associating this year with the bad habit. When at the end of it, yes, Lord, at the end of it, I can say, you know what, I was doing these XY things at the beginning, but towards the end I changed and I made a difference as I was going into my new year.
So what do you say, because we're talking about all of us have no kids. I mean, so what do you say to the person, the parent or the parents or, mm-hmm. you know, guardians, whatever, of people who have, you know, children and they're saying, you know, I want to do this, but I don't have the time because I take care of the kids. I have to do X, Y, and Z. I have to do this, you know, by this certain time, and I have get this kid to this place, and especially mm-hmm. if their thing is, I don't know, working out or, mm-hmm. you know, that takes time. Like we can't take out the time aspect of it. So what do you say to that parent or to that whoever who says they don't have the time? How do they make time for that new year, new you mm-hmm. type of deal?
I think it's important that they sit down and they take time for themselves, and even if it's like 10 minutes mm-hmm. of, I'm going to stay here and drink some coffee in the morning and just mm-hmm. like reflect and like relax. I think a lot of times parents get so wrapped up in, I need to take care of my kids, that they forget to take care of themselves. And that can be like what happens a lot, is that they're so focused on their kids that they let their goals, their resolutions go away. So I think it would be important to figure out a time for them. Like if they do want to work out, figure out a time like when your kids are sleeping. Like it may be I have to wake up at 4 a.m. so I can do a 30-minute workout, mm-hmm. but my kids are sleeping at that point and I know they're safe and I don't need to take care of them. So I can take that 30 minutes for myself.
I mean, coming from my perspective, I don't have children, so I know one time my sister-in-law posted, the worst advice you can give a mom is self-care, 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 because sometimes it's not realistic when you have somebody that needs you, mm-hmm. you know? So I think mainly, like, I don't have really any advice for the parent. because I don't know that struggle. And I definitely think that is something that they work on themselves. And then I think my biggest thing that I would say is having kindness on yourself. It is hard